Go for it. I just went live. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Oof, I got hiccups now. Oh, hello, sunlight. We can start that song over and yes. Possibly because I just downed the entire whole rest of my ramen. So it is a possibility. But I'm also prone to hiccups, no matter what. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8 left to do. Peaches! Mm. Okay, Peaches chose Forest. We're doing the boardwalk. It was early morning, but the day was already buzzing with excitement. Your whole family was gathered together with all 5 Soras in their cozy living room. Today you are all making a trip out to the boardwalk set park. It's a regular enough outing for Derek's family, but it would be your first time going. The boardwalk was a few hours away, and it was even further when setting out from Sunset Park. That's why the adults decided on the meetup here at the Sora's apartment, instead of gathering at the boardwalk itself. It gave your moms a little break from driving, and everyone got their last chance to run for the bathroom. You would be leaving very soon. While you waited for the trip to officially start, you sat on the couch with your hands in your lap. For a few minutes now, you've tried to keep track of what the group gathered around the kitchen counter were up to. Elizabeth, your moms, and Miss Suarez were all busy making preparations for you could tell. Meanwhile, Mr. Suarez had his hands full rounding up his 2 youngest kids. It seemed that they were taking an anti-shoe stance that morning. And in Nicholas' case, he needed to be talked into wearing a shirt too. On the cushion next to you, Derek was pumped for what the boardwalk had to offer. He was rambling a mile a minute about all the fun stuff he couldn't wait to show you. You were excited about it. You were nervous about how busy it might be. You were simply happy because Derek was happy. You were excited about it. I was not excited to go to a boardwalk. Bouncing your leg, you struggled to contain your energy. You were just as eager to experience everything he had described. This journey was also the first time you and Derek's family were doing a big activity together. You couldn't believe it originally when the adults went through with organizing the trip.
Let's go.
Kids, come join us in the kitchen. It's time to pack your treat bags.
Cool.
Sliding out the couch, you didn't have the faintest idea what Miss Perez meant, but you were summoned, and so you followed Derek's lead. He turned to say something over his shoulder. He guessed that line might have been confusing to a newcomer. The sandbags are what we do for larger trips. Me and my brothers, and you and Elizabeth too, will get to fill a little plastic baggie with any sweets and stuff we want. It's supposed to be for eating during the hours-long drive, but no one really cares when we snack. It's just so we have something if we need it. I like that. It's really
Same.
nice. I think so too. It's great to have it on hand. As you reach the kitchen, Elizabeth breezed past you and your mom's, following at a more relaxed pace. Derek raised his skeptical brow and pointed in her direction with his thumb. Doesn't she want a bag? Elizabeth stopped and spun around on her heel, surprised. Derek pulled his hand back to his side. Elizabeth curled into an all-too-pleased smirk.
So
You
what?
heard Miss Soraya. She called for the kids to come. Mama shook her head at Elizabeth's taunting display. Her sister stepped forward and held up a zip bag that she hadn't noticed before. Peaches, do I need to get you something so you eat slowly? Peaches, eat slowly. I already got mine while we were getting things set up for the rest of you. The bag is full of dried fruits and chocolate chips. She teasingly dangled it in your face and then in Derek's. Very mature, Elizabeth. You're not one of the kids at all. You snickered at her, you stuck your tongue out, you shook your head, you rolled your eyes, you just stared at Elizabeth. You snickered at her. Elizabeth withdrew her treat bag. She watched you suspiciously while you composed yourself. So I see you excited about snack time again. She sort of gave you the most indignant stare. Ma leaned into Ma, trying to stifle her giggles. Everyone's gotta eat. After that, she left the kitchen and plopped down in your old spot on the couch. Your mom's joined her, putting Elizabeth in the middle. Ma comfortably patted Elizabeth's leg. Glancing back towards the kitchen, Jorge and Nicholas were finally dressed, and they dashed ahead of you. They excitedly crowded around their mom's legs. Now, don't forget that the bag actually has to be able to close for it to count. She began passing out baggies to her two youngest, and then Mrs. Rez turned to you and winked. That's my one rule for the treat bags. But other than that, feel free to go crazy. Nicholas and Jorge took that as their cue to rush up to the counter lined with tasty options and start stuffing their bags. Mrs. Rez handed you and Derek your own plastic baggies. Now that it was in your hands, you realized that it was a small zip bag size. There was no way that you were going to get a little bit of everything. From my experience, you can fit about 4 handfuls of stuff before it starts getting too tough to close. I'll have to strategize then. Thanks. The younger boys swiftly finished selecting their road trip treats. Jorge's bags closed easily, while Nicholas was proving a challenge to squeeze shut. The plastic was ballooned out on all sides, entirely full of cookies and candy. Oh. Rip. Oh, your whole computer went down. Oof.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Sorry, my computer crashed.
You're good.
I went to send you whatchamacallit? Yeah, this thing. And my computer crashed. Hold on, I gotta open up Firefox. Oh, I'm not live yet though. I gotta go live before I can send that, right? Oh no,
Well, it went through, so.
you're in here. Cool. Yeah, I know I gotta go live. I'm starting. Let me redo my I think it's just beans if I remember correctly. Let me go to my Twitch real quick. Wait, let me just try it. Beans. Yep,
His breath
that's it.
pinched as he struggled with the zip. To everyone's surprise, Nicholas got it to seal, and he proudly held the bag up for his mom's inspection. Impressed, she nodded. Don't forget to take a water bottle too. We don't want to lose anyone to dehydration today. The two boys held their prizes tightly and grabbed the water bottles off the edge of the counter on the way out of the kitchen. It was your turn now at the buffet, and the spread was delicious. So let's see, we have some fruit gummies, peanuts, almonds, walnuts, plain crackers, sunflower seeds, shortbread, and sandwich cookies, dried mangoes, apples, and cranberries, cereal, granola, chocolate chips. Take some dried mangoes, granola, and
Oh, it's not capturing your screen. Why? Oh, that could be why. Let me go back. Still not working?
go with
There we go.
chocolate chips. Why not?
And then
You're good with that.
Capturing the game.
Enjoy. Having happily ran your hand across the side of the plastic bag, you were grateful for your home, and he probably showed it to Derek. He gave you a thumbs up.
Oh, did it just start working? I think it did.
Derek leaned across the counter for the water bottles. He slid one over to you to take and grabbed one for himself, too. Okay, I'll close up the packs then. We can leave this out here for now.
Is that fine?
We don't have any more time to lose. Are we all ready? Several voices called back, answering yes. Miss Rose raised an eyebrow and walked out of the kitchen. No, I needs to go potty. No,
No.
I don't have to go potty.
Good.
Good. Anyone have any questions before we go? She put her hands on her hips and glanced around the apartment. Miss Perez raised his hands as he caught her eye. I'd like to know how we will arrange the rides. There's room for 5 in the back of our car and room for 3 in the last car.
What do you think?
There is room to switch who is bringing who, if there's a want for it.
Oh.
I'm glad you brought that up. Elizabeth and Penny are welcome to ride with us, or Derek can feel free to go with Pamela and Nalani. Nicholas and Jorge are staying in our van. Pressure both smaller boys pounded at their exclusion. Jorge's jaw clenched as he crossed his arms. Not a baby. Why do I gotta stay in the van? I'm not a baby. Nicholas, no, you still need a booster seat. We can't put that in their car. Mr. Soros chuckled at Nicholas' angry grumbling as he passed by into the kitchen, aiming to pick up the remaining snacks. Miss Soros sighed in a tickled but still long-suffering way. Dad and I need you there to stay awake for such a long drive. Can you two please keep us company on the car ride? Releasing a deep breath, Jorge nodded. He knew this wasn't the day his mom was going to relent. Nicholas, on the other hand, continued to pout. Not much to do. Okay, Mom. Well, what do you think, Lonnie?
That's fine.
Either way is fine with me. It's up to the kids to decide which they prefer. I'll stick with Mom's. She then curiously shifted her attention to you, the corner of her mouth pulled into smirk, because she knew that you and your friend were the ones that whole decision was for. Derek leaned in close to you, cupping hand to the side of his mouth so only you could hear him. Meaning, what are you thinking? It makes sense for everyone to ride with their parents. I want to ride with the Soras. Derek should ride with us, well, if he's alright with that. What are you thinking? You weren't sure what to say. What were you thinking? He hunched back, nervously scratched the side of his neck. His cheeks turned a darker shade of pink.
Well,
I think it'd be cool if you rode with me and my family. Now let's go with your idea. Really cool.
let's go.
Okay, now that that's settled, we'll see you there.
Take
See
care.
you soon, sweetie.
Oh,
Hold on, one last thing. Miss Rez went over to your mom so quickly went into some last-minute advice on the directions. While you waited, you noticed out of the corner that Mr. Shores had moved on from nibbling at the snacks. Sadie Khan passing her a necklace and extra cookie each. Jared and Cheer came back to both their expressions. They were so thrilled, but the secret cookies that their earlier bitterness about being babied was all sweetened out. And that was that. Snacks and drinks were set. No one needed to go potty. The rides were arranged. Directions were obtained, and it was finally time to get the trip started.
All right. Can anyone do a test message in chat? Is it shared? Here, I'll do it. Test. Can you see mine?
No, it's not shared.
Okay. Oh, that's why. Because I had to go live first. Duh. My bad.
I thought you already
I'm a
live.
doof. Bad streamer. That's what, this is what you get, okay? I'm new. What can you say? How long have you been doing this now, Bean?
A while.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anywho. Hey, I see that. Thanks, Bean.
Welcome.
Oh, nice. And it shows us from your chat, too. I forgot about that.
The two families left the condo behind, chattering with eagerness for the day's activity. At the parking lot, the group split up to get into their different cars. You followed Derek into his parents' minivan. Buckling up, he settled in for the long haul. Here we go.
You know what?
The Suarez minivan was a full house. Mr. Suarez hopped behind the wheel with his wife sitting shotgun. She went back to double check that Nicholas was fully strapped into the car seat behind her. Derek, of course, had to sit in the open seat in that second row that left you and her to take control of the way back. Mr. Suarez bowed forward with frustration. Once again, it became a battle. The wiggling 6-year-old fought against her attempts to tighten the car seat's front straps. When she succeeded, Miss Suarez brushed the hair that fell forward behind her ear, turned to the rest of you with a lighter expression. Are we all ready? Yes. Yeah, Mom. Yep, all set.
very good.
Good. She made sure Nicholas was secured one last time for getting herself situated properly. She had the click of her seatbelt, and then Miss Suarez shifted her attention, this time to the last row of seats. So nice to have you here, Beanie. Thanks for having me. Of course, all of us are happy for the added company. Now that everyone was settled in, the car roared to life, and Mr. Suarez pulled onto the road. Out of habit, he reached over and clicked the CD player on. Upbeat children's music loudly filled the car. Squealing with excitement, Nicholas started kicking his seat to the beat of the song. Next to you, Harry leaned an elbow on the car door and rested his chin in the palm of his hand. There was a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth as he settled in to stare at the window. You had Derek's green-eyed gaze picking at you from the space between the headrest and the backrest of the seat. You waved at him. Derek moved out of sight, but only to twist around in the seat to talk to you directly.
It's
Thanks
all
for coming
good.
with us on the drive. I can't wait for you to see the boardwalk. It's going to be so fun. You only got as far as opening your mouth when Nicholas erupted into a stream of loud cheers. The young boy threw both his arms in the air, and Derek stuck in his seat, clearly embarrassed.
Woo!
Woo! Nicholas' outburst didn't surprise you one bit. A tiny chuckle escaped Derek as he slowly slid his gaze back over to you. Sorry about that, Beanie. The whole drive's probably going to be this rowdy. I don't mind. You joined the celebration, chattering about the day's plan. Sing along to the music to entertain Nicholas. Oh, what's that out the window? Look, he joked. You sat there quietly. He sang along to the music to entertain Nicholas. He immediately recognized the words he sang, and Nicholas enthusiastically belted out the next verse along with you. After a few chuckles, Derek and even his parents joined in too. As all of you combined voices found a unique harmony, Harry finally glanced away from his window. He'd been listening along. Hesitantly, he started mouthing the words too. Later during the drive, Nicholas let a gleeful squeal. You were confused at first at what managed to get that reaction from him, but soon it became clear. Nicholas remembered he had an entire baggie of snacks. He triumphantly pulled it out of his pocket and started munching away at all the tasty treats inside. For once, Harry followed Nicholas' lead and relaxed into a chill snack time. Harry munched away while watching the world pass by out his window. Derek, on the other hand, simply rested back into a seat with his arms behind his head. Decided to have some snacks too. You ate everything you had. You saved all your snacks for later. Resting your head back, you had a hunch that these snacks would be a lifesaver once your stomach started growling later. After Nicholas had devoured every crumb, lick every bit of sugar from his fingers, he was ready to play again. And so the ride continued on to the blasting beat of classic kindergarten tunes with that fun road trip games. And despite the trip supposedly taking hours, it didn't feel long until you noticed the first sign of your destination. With building anticipation, you caught the first flashes of the tall rides in the distance. Both families pulled into the parking lot, and the kids
Why
excitedly
is Jaeger spawning? What the fuck?
bounced out of the cars. The parents cheerfully waved at each other as the group closed the distance between them. With everyone regrouped, the family strolled onto the boardwalk. Your eyes widened. The place was even more amazing than you'd imagine. It was like you stepped into a bright world of color. There were shops displaying various beach towels and boogie boards, decorated with either popular cartoon characters or tropical flowers. Clearly, Excel's had racks of sundresses, cover-ups, and swimwear in every pattern imaginable. Ahead, you can make out the colorful tufts of stuffed animals from the prize board. Darts, rings, toss, skee ball, and more awaited farther down the boardwalk. Music filled the air, but when you listen closely, you can make out so much more. There are various cheers and shouts of victory, joy, and fear. The screams had to be coming from the massive wooden roller coaster that towered beyond the stalls. From what you could tell already, this boardwalk was easily 5 times the scale of the entire shopping street in Sunset Bird. You loved it. You still preferred your own town shore's tourist trap. You suddenly felt comfortable. Your good spirits. You didn't know what to think. Very good spirits. Hugging happily aloud to the tubes, you made sure not to lose track of your group as you moved through the crowd. Now that you were seeing it for yourself, you finally understood the intensity behind Derek's descriptions. The group began navigating down the wooden boards. Miss Suarez hastily grabbed onto Nicholas' arm for safekeeping, and just in time, too. The bustling mood of the area had Nicholas roaring to go. He wanted to see, play, and explore every inch. Unfortunately, the 4 parents were just not as energetic as the hyper 6-year-old. With an affectionate shake of her head, Miss Suarez struggled to hold onto Nicholas's tiny hand as he attempted to sprint ahead. Irene, why not let the children go?
What?
Huh?
Will that be fine?
This child here and the rest of them. I'm pretty sure they'd rather enjoy the park on their own than at their own pace. They'd be safe with each other. She carefully weighed those scenarios in her mind while Nicholas was too busy trying to forcibly move her forward to notice the important conversation happening. Your mom shared a glance. I'd be alright with that as long as nobody left the boardwalk. It's large, but not too large.
All right.
The kids are getting older, and they've earned a little freedom from our all-seeing eyes.
Of course, that little dork's actually.
Of course,
guarding
adults and
the
kids get
key.
to have their own day at the boardwalk. You caught both Elizabeth and Derek perking up. This was clearly a sign of a perfect day ahead for the two. And the mistress passed Nicholas off to her husband for a moment. She meant for the older kids to circle close at her.
No more.
No more treats for Nicholas. He's had enough candy and cookies for the day. I'm counting on you to keep to that. Mr. Suarez over there can't be trusted.
Oops.
Oops. He sat up straighter and looked away from Strike, pretending that he had no idea what she was talking about. Her knowing smile cracked into a light-hearted laugh. You admired the way her eyes sparkled, teasing her husband. She moved her attention back to the rest of you. Both Jorge and Elizabeth gave her confident nods.
I'm on it.
We've got this, Mom. Derek answered with an added thumbs up. Miss Suarez proudly beamed, letting her gaze go between her boys. Derek's right, we got this. Oh, speaking of getting things, I have some money on hand for me and my brothers. Will you and Elizabeth buy ride tickets and knickknacks? Any of that sort of stuff? I doubt the pocket change I have is going to be enough for anything. I remembered my wallet. Well, I got a nickel. I didn't bring any money. You frowned wordlessly. I remembered my wallet. You kindly put your hands on your hips and then pressed. Elizabeth rolled her eyes. Good for you.
Don't worry
Don't worry
about
about
it.
it. We're going to spend money on you two today anyway, so there's no harm if we let you have it. Besides, we don't get to go on trips like this every day. Go a little wild. Exactly. We want you to be able to do things here. Mom dug into her purse and then she pulled out a handful of bills. She carefully counted out $15 and handed it to Elizabeth. Her sister was unimpressed at the amount and recounted the bills herself. Mom handed your own $15 next, and you quietly chuckled to yourself. Couldn't help but think about how it probably would have been a 20 if Mr. Holden was there. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks.
Thanks, Moms.
All right.
We're all set then. We'll meet again here at 8 p.m. in front of this first stall. Miss Rose took her youngest arms and crouched down to his level. She brushed some stray hairs out of his face. Go and stay with your brothers today. Be good for them. With an eager nod, Nicholas bolted over to Derek and clung onto his jeans. Derek laughed at the sudden weight and put his hands firmly on the younger boy's shoulder just in case he
Didn't I
decided to
just
run
see
off.
something? Yeah.
The two set of parents disappeared in the crowd, moving towards the nearby stores. Standing on your tiptoes, you caught your moms waving goodbye one last time, but they were completely out of sight. Elizabeth spun in a circle, spotting all the things she wanted to try. She must have deemed the boardwalk to be cool because she was chair by the second. Eventually, her gaze returned to you and the Stars brothers. It was clear that her daydreams crashed back to reality. Next to her, Jorge rocked up to his tiptoes and then back down. Catching yours, he stopped and nervously inched a little bit closer to Derek. It must feel awkward for a little kid to have two new additions to a supposedly a special family affair. You offered him a smile, but tried not to
So,
stare at him. You're
Your
eager to get
spine
going
was
already.
interesting.
The clock was ticking, and you didn't want to miss a single activity. Derek awkwardly took a couple large steps forward. His strides were wobbly as Nicholas held onto him tighter. But Derek was ultimately unfazed.
Okay.
Okay, we should start the day right. Face painting stalls up here near the front.
Yeah.
Face painting! Harry brightened with that notion, and Nicholas shook Derek as hard as he could without shaking himself off. Derek's grin widened as he laughed at his brother's delight. Yeah, let's go.
So immature.
Face painting? Are you serious? Nicholas was too absorbed with the thought of painting to notice her attitude, but Jorge's joy vanished instantly. He could pinpoint the exact second Elizabeth remembered how much younger Derek's siblings were. Elizabeth uncrossed her arms, feeling a bit rotten. She cleared her throat and begrudgingly tried to pull back on her visible distaste. I don't need one, however, of course we can go over to the stall. Anyone who wants to do it should. That's great. Honestly, there's a lot of time to do tons of things, so it's not a big deal sometimes. This is what you want to do, right? His green stare hardened. He directed that statement at both the youngest and the oldest member in the crew. Elizabeth snorted, displeased that a kid like Derek was acting like he was in charge. But Derek was in his respectful guest mode, which is what Elizabeth usually saw of him in the neighborhood. Derek was entirely in the eldest brother role. He kept a stern stare on her for another moment before shifting to you. Are you alright with letting my brothers get their face painted? You can too if you want. It's actually a lot of fun. I want to get my face painted too. Woo, face painting. I don't mind going, but I don't want to get painted either. You nodded. You simply shrugged in acceptance. I want to get my face painted too. Nicholas victoriously bounced, knocking against Derek. You caught a smile growing back on Jorge's face. Before anyone moved, Derek carefully removed Nicholas' hand from his pants and took a hold of the young boy's hand instead, like his mom had done before. Derek cheerfully pointed ahead with his free
Let's
hand.
go.
Let's go! Derek led the way for your group. You followed his line of sight to the row of shops and spotted a large, colorful umbrella. As you approached, you noticed two open chairs under the shade of that umbrella, one for the artist and one for the person being painted. Next one was a canvas posted with a collage of photos. The example showed off cheeks dotted with daisies, sparkling gold stars, shooting over temples, peace signs, and a whole rainbow of butterflies. Skulls and spiders were options for kids who wanted to get their face painted and still look tough. Sound like Cove, you thought to yourself, chuckling. Of course, that was only a joke. You're positive Cove would actually get a fish, or a shell, or a dolphin, or something like that. You peeked at the painting tools and the mirror on the wheeled counter. The artist appeared to be a teen just out of high school, or maybe in college. Many of the stalls you passed had younger people running them. The artist eyed your group carefully in return. Hello. Hi, welcome. I'm Xavier. Would you like me to paint your face today?
Definitely.
Yes, please. Xavier went over and plopped down on one of the chairs. Derek nudged Jorge towards the other.
Wow.
Do you want to go
I think
first?
She just said that.
Hey,
Toxic as
hesitating
fuck.
at his bottom lip, but he wasn't sure until he realized that no one else moved to take the open seat. He seized the opportunity and sat down. What can I do
Okay.
for you? I want a
Pop.
football right here. That missing beat, Jorge pointed to his forehead. Elizabeth helped quietly at that conversation, but Xavier gave a serious nod. I can do that, no problem. Darius lightly brushed Jorge's bangs aside and began to work. Next to you, Derek's brow furrowed intensely as he studied the picture collage of options. What's up, Derek? But Derek continued to quietly mull things over. He pressed a hand to his chin and sighed. Nicholas will get what I get. I'm not sure what to get because of that. He doesn't like soccer as much as Jorge likes football, so it's probably not the best choice. I could get a car for obvious reasons, but Nicholas really loves rainbows, and he does already have cars on his shirt. Just get the car, you can't lose with that. It's sweet that he loves rainbows, let him have one. You could get a spider. Nicholas can pretend it's a real one, scare people.
I can't see that. Oh yeah, I can. You're
Hmm.
3.
Let's go with the rainbows. I've done the spider ones already. It's sweet that he loves rainbows. Let him have one. Chuckling, Derek shook his head at your enthusiasm. He raised his hands in surrender.
All right.
Alright, I'll get a rainbow. Ray's football didn't take long to finish at all. He got up with a delighted grin and tried to tip his head enough to see the painting without a mirror. He couldn't, but that didn't put a damper on his fun. One of his hands hovered around the football, and you knew that he was fighting the urge to poke at the wet paint. Derek slid onto the customer chair next. Nicholas leaned his hands on the edge of the seat, intensely watched the artist get to work. As the painting took shape, the smile on Nicholas' face grew. He gasped out in amazement the second he figured it out. The artist proudly added the finishing touches and then addressed the youngest artist and said, Xavier twirled the paintbrush. Now what do you think? It's awesome.
No
Just
shot,
what I
you
like
just
to hear.
walk
You're
out.
good to go then.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Like,
Derek
dude,
took
the
one
round
last glance
just
at himself in the
started.
mirror and hopped off the chair. He pointed at the open seat with his thumb. Your turn, Nico. Nicholas clambered onto the chair with a pinched brow. Once he got settled, he sat up tall like a big boy. Hello, what can I do for you today? A rainbow. Xavier Gates instantly went back to the piece they just finished on Derek. They immediately put together what was happening. That's a great idea. Let's get started. Nicholas nodded and then put all of his mental energy into holding so. You weren't sure how long the 6-year-old could keep that up for before he started to squirm. Well, it was fun to watch, Nicholas. You knew that your focus was better spent deciding on what design you were actually getting. You're next, so you gave the canvas another look. You picked out the football, soccer ball, baseball, butterfly, heart, shooting star, rainbow, sun, smiley face, car, skull, spider, peace sign, alien face, cheek whiskers, and a painted nose.
I just want this person to leave me alone for like 2 seconds. New World. I see New World. I really want to play it, but like the thing is like I was telling Katie, like I can't play it until like I knock out a couple other things because New World's gonna suck up so much time. It is such a time sink. So like I have to finish up my goals with Outlast Trials, with Hammer Watch. I was really hoping to squeeze Terraria in first with Risa and Kadith, but they haven't really been playing lately.
Yeah.
But if it's not going to be Terraria, I mean, I still have others. Like, I have too many games in the works. Is my point? Is like that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, I can't add another one right now. I technically just added Undisputed to that list, but I can postpone that. Like, I feel like I can do that almost any time.
I mean, I feel that Thing is that I also did add an additional game to my roster, even though I shouldn't have.
Yeah, right? It's like, oh man, it's like I gotta knock something out.
But I did
And
knock
you know what's
out
funny? I
Mass
still
Effect.
want to play more Dead Frontier and stream that, but like it's an MMO also. So I think it's going to be my alternative to New World. When I don't want to play New World, I'll play some Dead Frontier.
Mm-hmm. How about we do a shooting star?
But if I'm in the MMO mood and I get maybe a little fed up with New World, I also have what's that one? I think didn't you say you had a character on it? It's the Star Wars one. What's the Star Wars MMO called?
I do not have
The Old
anything to
Republic
do
or
with Star
whatever?
Wars games. I don't have any.
It's a free one. Oh, you don't have it? It's a free one. Oh, you know what we should do? We should totally do a playthrough of that together. Because I need to do a second playthrough. Like I've only beat you have to beat the game like with every class. For both the Sith and the Jedi. So like there's like I wanna say there's an obscene amount of playthroughs you gotta do, is my point. So I've only done one. So Anyway, my point is, when I do one of the movie nights where I'm streaming again, the movie on Discord, I'll have to make them Star Wars so you can see some of them.
Mm-mm.
Is what I was getting at. I'll share them with you if you want.
Again,
Oh, this is why the guy
Xavier
was
made quick
guarding
work
this
painting, and
room.
Nicholas was soon jumping out of his chair with a brand new rainbow adorning his cheek. He walked
I'm
over
running
and
for
took
my
his
life.
place in the chair.
That's the fire
Can
person.
I get one too?
I don't
Of
want
course.
it. I don't want it.
The three
I don't
brothers
want it.
huddled together off to the side, proudly admiring and showing off each other's face paintings. Elizabeth crossed her arms, spotting you in the chair next. She'd been quietly hanging around the stall, attempting not to be too impatient.
I can't find a
You're the last
poster
one left to go.
anywhere.
I can start when you're ready. Right, you shifted your attention away from the group and instead stared directly into the artist's face. You like their pink hair.
There's no reason to go that
It's
way.
pulled back and tucked under a uniform hat, and from this distance you realized that their eyes were more purplish than the brown color they looked when far away. So what can I do for you? Could you paint me a shooting star? I can work with that. They dipped a clean brush into their starting color, and then they reached forward to begin drawing on your cheek. The paint felt cooler than you imagined. Try not to move too much. The bristles lightly tickled as they glided across your skin. Stroke by stroke, Xavier started with the outer lines, and then filled in the center of the drawing. And before you knew it, it was over. You eagerly checked yourself in the mirror on the counter and beamed. Thank you so much.
Chat, please. If anybody sees a poster at this point, I'm actually desperate. How have I gone this
You're
far and
welcome.
not found one?
You get up and rejoin the others. There's a delight pep in your step as you pointed to the
Put a
final
one in
result.
chat if you see it.
Nice choice. Now that you and Sora's brothers were happy with all your face paintings, it was time to discover the next activity. Jared quickly paid for him and his brothers. You dug out some of your own money too, and then it was time to go.
I only
Have a
need
good day.
3 and I can't find one.
You too, Xavier. Your group gave one final round of thank yous to Xavier before moving on from the stall. The flow of the crowd brought you all drifting down
There's
the
one.
boardwalk. As you traveled further in, you actually spotted your parents. The Sora's
that's
boys
another
jumped
two.
and waved, and their dad did exactly the same thing across the way. Next up, Miss Suarez tried hiding her ear-to-ear grin with her hands. Your moms had their heads close together, laughing at Mr. Suarez's reaction. You shouted, you jumped and shouted, you jumped and waved. You waved quietly, you sighed at the outburst. You jumped and waved. Throwing your hands in the air, you waved them like crazy as you bounced in place. Elizabeth sidestepped away from the group, not wanting to be associated with the undignified behavior. Mom spotted you right away and pointed Mom in your direction. They joyously waved back to you and Elizabeth.
There's one right there. Okay, nice. We're on a roll.
Then your parents continued on with their own adventure.
Call me Butter. I'm on a roll.
Your group traveled
Call Me
further.
Ah! Don't scream. Don't scream. Sorry, I screamed.
Your group traveled further down the boardwalk. You browsed the long row of shops, pointing out all the interesting things on sale.
L. Big L. Oh no. He's screaming.
As the afternoon
He's
stretched on,
screaming.
your gang continued to enjoy the boardwalk. Ellipsa took long strides and led the pack, cutting her way through the crowd. Everyone was willing to follow her. The brothers were giving her some leeway since it was her first time there, and you were used to your older sister's attitude. She was making a beeline to the roller coaster, the singular big kid ride on the boardwalk, and nothing was going to stand in her way. You
What
caught
else
up
do I
with
have to do?
Elizabeth
Healing
and walked
items?
alongside
Ugh,
her. You hung back with Derek,
I can
Jorge,
do
and
that real
Nicholas.
quick.
Elizabeth was finding her own, and you weren't just there for the rides. You want to spend time with your friend.
No. Sorry. I'm cracking myself up over here. Don't come over here. Don't you do it. You brought that on yourself. What did you do to me? Well, you came at me with a machete.
I'm getting a video call from Kenzie. Give me one moment.
Okay. Tell Ken's hi. Where are you hiding? I guess I could let that person stab me because I did unfortunately take out a lot of the traps.
It was not Kenzie, but my mother.
Oh,
Why it popped
Same
up as
sentiment.
Kenzie, I don't know. Because it said Kenzie was trying to video call me. Nicholas had stopped holding on to Derek and said, flitting around on his
I'm telling you, I'm
own.
gonna get that bamboozler at some point.
So I officially moved Wiggles into his new cage. He was not amused. Because I took his bedding, which is his hammock. He has 2 hammocks, and I took them both so I could wash them. So he was in the cage just staring and glaring at me.
Of course,
in a
because
little
also
corner.
he knows you're taking his stank off him.
Yeah.
He probably likes his own stank.
And so he's just staring at me from the little corner, and I was like, you know what? As soon as it was all dry and done, I put in the corner that he was in, I put the bed, his hammock there. And he just like slowly climbed in, and then he just poked his little head out at me. And then he went and crawled up and went to sleep.
Okay, that is not the kind of person I want to run
He was like,
into to
I'm
take
done with you.
damage. I finally found all the healing items I need, and the biggest jerk in the world is here.
But my mom came down to see how he was doing, and he didn't have his hammock still. And she just watched as
Don't
he
mind
just
me if I start screaming. I'm gonna be getting myself set on fire.
fun. She watched as he legit tried to wiggle his way. Legitimately, he wiggled his way underneath the padding that I had for him, and he legit rolled himself up in it, trying to hide. My mom's
Don't
like,
call me a bitch, you
"Aw."
bitch.
She felt so bad. I was like, he's
I'm
gonna
at
get
full health
it
already?
back. She goes, but it's so sad that he's using the stuff that he has to poop on to hide himself in. I was like, at least it's clean. He's not doing it while he has already pooped on it, at least.
I need to get past you, please.
Derek continued to keep a sharp eye on him. He occasionally pressed his lips when Nicholas was on the cusp of wandering further away than safety allowed. He watched the little
So
boy
much
as
easier
well.
just to have you
His attention
stab
wasn't
me.
nearly as single-minded
thank
as
you.
Elizabeth's.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Eventually started to lag, unable to keep up with Elizabeth's breakneck pace. Nicholas tottering at the end of the group, slowing his pace, falling behind, then bursting forward to catch back up. It happened on repeat. His eyelids drooped, and his head bobbed forward. There was an expression of vacant determination on his face. It was a special kind of stubbornness only the youngest
go
people
ahead.
in society
It's
could
fine.
muster.
It's fine.
The
I want
type
you to
where
hit
the
me.
concept of stopping wasn't just ignored. It flat out didn't exist in their minds. Luckily for Nicholas, he had a more self-aware big brother who could set limits for him. Hey, let's sit down for a second. What? It's a long walk, especially if you got small legs. So you mean for you? That's right, I do need to take a break. Derek willingly accepted Elizabeth's shot
Sorry,
at his
Quill.
stature. You
I'm
guess
out.
why pretty easily based on his leading tone. Derek wanted rest, Nicholas would want that too. Derek scanned the area and pointed out some tables in the distance. Elizabeth began to slip the path ahead once, but didn't argue about changing course. She picked an empty table that looked to be the cleanest of the selection. Everyone took a seat with a marked preference for sitting under the shade half. You grabbed your water bottle and took a long, refreshing drink. It remained relatively cool in
I
your
wanted to hit him in the face. I want you
Derek
to know
helped
that,
Nicholas
chat.
up onto his lap. His brother
thinking to
wiggled
yourself,
slightly
did
until
he
he
have to
found
do
a
that?
comfortable position.
No. I wanted to. Just like he's gonna come up here again and watch Kobe. Look. Here, let's get this brick. Look at this motherfucker. In your face. Yeah, we don't like Coil. Another bottle.
Benny has an idea.
We
It's
could have got the
water
daily
time.
done like
Nels
5
gave no
times over.
audible response. His eyes were completely closed. However, he did accept the water Derek placed into his hand. He sipped it sluggishly. Fortunately, Nicholas tipped the water bottle upwards into his
Alright,
sorry
that's
to
helpful.
spill.
Oops.
Derek snatched the water back and chuckled. Nicholas opened his eyes slightly, barely perturbed by the getting splashed. He rubbed his wet face on Derek's shirt and stayed resting against his chest. Derek patted his head, he had to admit it was cute. Elizabeth and Rory drank their water too, side-eyeing the scene but not saying a word. You should drink, Derek. You followed Elizabeth and Rory's example and silently observed Nicholas. You kept your own business. You should drink, Derek. Thanks, I will. He pulled out his bottle with a smile and began to hydrate. Rory finished his drink with the final chug. He inclined his head towards the two brothers. Nicholas is going to fall asleep.
Here, kid, rig. Okay. I think I have to get it. At this
Elizabeth
point,
twisted the cap back on her bottle. She was
unfortunately.
ready to go. What now?
Uh,
Nicholas let out a small, snuffly noise. A snore. Derek looked down at his clearly sleeping little brother, but it was no issue for Derek. He brushed it off as easily as Elizabeth's insult. It's cool. I'll find her parents and they can look after Nico while he naps. Mom and Dad won't mind taking him along since he's down for the count. They're probably staying at one of the restaurants or browsing a store or something. Elizabeth nodded, glad that it wouldn't be her problem. Rory appeared more hesitant.
okay.
He peeked at Elizabeth, then back to you. Derek smiled reassuringly and continued to pitch his plan. Yes,
Anyway,
Elizabeth wanted to ride the roller coaster. I would have had to sit back with Nicholas anyway since he's too short for it. It just makes sense for you three to do that while I'm dropping off Nicholas. So go get that ride. I'll catch up later. Rory sighed. He was being left behind thanks to Nicholas, but was placated enough to not argue with his older brother. Okay, you nodded and accepted the plan. Are you sure? I'll stay with you so you two aren't alone. Can I go with you, please? We should all go find your parents together. Splitting up is a bad idea. Are you sure? You watched Derek's face carefully, but he gave no sign of concern. Yeah, definitely. I'll be back in a flash. You won't even miss me. Okay, you know, I accepted the plan. I'll stay with you, so you two aren't alone.
This will be interesting.
Can I go with you, please? We should all go find your parents
I should
together.
get in on
Splitting up is
this.
a bad idea. You nodded and accepted the plan. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. Thank you, Derek. Derek did a double take, trying to figure out if she was serious. You gave him a subtle nod. From your interpretation, Elizabeth didn't mean her thank you. It was just her perpetual lukewarm tone that made it come across as sarcastic. Derek's mouth twitched into a grateful smile at your Elizabeth's interpretation.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. He winked at you.
talk to
See
you
soon.
later.
The Derek shifted Nicholas around so the kid was firmly dozing in his arms and hopped up from the bench. Nicholas didn't stir as he watched Derek shuffle away as speedily as he reasonably could, careful not to jostle his brother too much. They both disappeared into the hustle and bustle of the crowd. Nicholas really must be able to sleep anywhere. Ray frowned when he lost sight of his brothers. He snuck another nervous glance at Elizabeth. Her sister's arms were folded across her chest, and her brows were pinched. Well, so typical for her. To her, it probably appeared like she was incredibly annoyed.
Aw, nobody else? Come on. You guys were just arm wrestling.
Don't worry, this will be fun. You try not to stare at
Sorry.
Jorge. Come on, this is gonna be awesome. It's okay, she scares me too. He's been working late. Jorge, you got up from the table and prepared to leave. Come on, this is gonna be awesome. If you say so. He perked up a little and stayed closer to you than your sister. He appreciated your friendliness. Seemed as though playing Elizabeth smoother over might
Wait,
become a
which one
regular
did you
gig.
choose? Sorry. I was listening. Which one did you choose?
Oh, for what?
Okay.
I clicked, come on,
Those
this
are
is
all
gonna be
when you're
awesome.
reading off, right? When you're reading them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Epic, come on, this is gonna be awesome.
Hmm.
Alright, since you two
Alright, cool.
decided to stay with me, I have the responsibility to make sure neither of you get lost. She placed her hands on her hips and scowled mostly at Harry, but you weren't completely safe either.
Right.
Better not run off. I'm running that roller coaster. Okay. I hear you. You felt her posturing was mostly for Jorge's sake, but she had always enjoyed bossing you around. Good. The authority recognized, she finally smiled, filled with a childish excitement that you rarely saw from her anymore. Elizabeth bounced on her feet. But I changed my mind. It's alright to run off, just as long as it's the right way. Move it. She rushed ahead, and both you and Harry had to go from 0 to 100 to catch up with her. After the initial burst of speed, she decreased the pace gradually. She may have been in a hurry, but didn't actually want to ditch you. It was a fun chase across the boardwalk. All of you were speed walking as fast as possible. Given Elizabeth's haste, you soon reached the line for the roller coaster. It was long enough that you had more than enough time to catch your breath. Elizabeth raised her hand over her eyes as she looked up, trying to see the high track of the roller coaster despite the sun's glare. She was thrilled. I'm gonna sit as close to the front as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh? She expressed a sudden eagerness. She approved. Then
Okay.
you can sit by me. Her eyes smiled shyly and inspected the pavement below. I'm gonna throw my hands up in the air. Fine, I'll take the seat behind you. But what if I want to sit by my big sister? You joked. But what if I want to sit by her? You joked. You chuckled at their exchange. You chuckled at their
Wait, are you trying to
exchange.
interrupt a date? Is that what I'm getting going on? Or like a two? Is it or whatever? Are you trying to be like a third wheel?
Well,
Is that the joke?
kinda, yeah. But also not.
Or whoever that was that just said that? I don't know if that was you.
I chuckled at their exchange. So my older sister basically said to the other kid, the younger kid, that he could sit by her since he was so excited about sitting near the front. And
and that's what you said to him as a joke. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
you could say it as a joke. But we're just gonna chuckle. Bryce had no idea whether to relax around her or not, but he was giving her a chance. The line plodded along with families and various teenage friend groups filing forward. Every time the roller coaster returned. It was a test of patience in the heat of the summer afternoon. Still, there was a grand reward at the other side, and eventually the three of you reached the loading station. Elizabeth and Jorge rushed forward the front of the car as soon as the roller coaster attendant gave them a nod. They managed to get seats only a couple rows from the top. He sat behind them and buckled in. Like Nicholas in his booster seat, an attendant went through each person, verifying they were strapped in safely. The roller coaster pass inspection was clear to go. It slowly started pulling uphill, heightening anticipation. Up and up and up, the car cracked forward. You gripped your handlebar, bracing for what would come. It went over the crest and then whooshed down the hill. The first hill. The wind pushed past you and felt like falling. Screams filled the air, shrieks of joy, terror, and everything in between. The roller coaster curved around and went back up and then down again, racing through several smaller hills and valleys. The wooden track jostled you around so much that it chattered your teeth in your head. You never knew what punch it would hit you with next. But too soon you felt the momentum slow, and your surroundings grew familiar. The coaster pattered to a stop back in the station. The safety bar was released, and your shaking hands lifted over your head. The skin of your face was tight and sensitive in the best way, tingling from the rush that ended only moments ago. Elizabeth discreetly watched Jorge to make sure he didn't need help before standing up. The three of you followed the exit signs back to the boardwalk, energized expression all around. Jorge skipped along beside you and Elizabeth. That was cool. Elizabeth nodded as she smushed down her frizzed out hair. It wasn't bad. Her grin held more enthusiasm than you'd see from her all
Not a
week.
fan of that guy.
It was awesome. It was crazy. I've been on better. You know,
I
I
didn't
along
say it.
happily. It was awesome. There had been so much wishing, and you had gone so fast. You could ride that again and again. As the adrenaline began settling down, you realized that your group wasn't exactly walking in any particular direction. Elizabeth paused and peered back and forth, raising herself on tiptoes as she searched. No Derek. She narrowed her eyes, and her slight smile set off immediate alarm bells. Let's go get cotton candy. What? She waved off with surprise. Well, Nicholas was the one who wasn't allowed any more treats, right? Do you see him, or even miss her responsibility? We do what we want now, and I want cotton candy. But isn't that unfair? Life's not fair, kid. Besides, what they don't know won't kill them. Rory blinked at her in amazement. Her flat disregard of the implied rules was enough to blow his mind. He wondered how childhood had been for her, growing up under Derek's rule-following example, rather than, well, Elizabethness. Both of you might have been the second children in your families, but you had very different older siblings paving the path ahead of you. Rory seriously considered her proposal, clearly thinking it through. Quietly, as if not wanting his words to spread beyond the script, he spoke. Can I have some? Yeah, you can. Her expression turned devious, pleased at her corrupting voice. She looked right towards you. Beanie. I want cotton candy, you better not leave me out of that. No, thanks, he nodded. You shook head.
The way you did that voice inflection just now, I actually thought you were responding to a real person and not reading in game. I was like, what the hell? I had to I double take for a second, like, who's with Bean? Like,
I want cotton candy. Elizabeth shrugged and went over to the nearby stall. She looked at a huge
Cotton
bag stuffed
candy.
with 3 clouds of puffy pink cotton candy. Paid for it out of her own pocket money. After she paid, she ripped over the bag, took out the first combo for Roy. He accepted it, his eyes still wide. She handed you the next chunk. It was light as air on your fingers, a bit sticky, and smelled sweetly vanillaed. Elizabeth took the last one for herself. She started tearing out bite-sized stuffs and placing them on her tongue. Roy happily took a large bite directly from his lump. He began eating yours as well. It was light, fluffy, and dissolved in your mouth. It's delicious. Elizabeth hummed in agreement, continuing to eat her treat. This worked out. For a time, everyone was content to enjoy the felonious treat and each other's company. Once it was eventually in, it was time to wipe off the pink-stained fingers. Elizabeth wadded up the empty plastic bag and tried to dunk it into a nearby trash can. The plastic immediately unfolded from its ball with a crinkle, and she missed. Her sister's eye snatched it off the ground and placed the sagging bag in the trash can directly. There were no signs left of the extra activity, and Derek hadn't returned to catch Elizabeth in the act. Where was he? He inspected the boardwalk for her friend's certain familiar form. Despite how
I
much
heard him.
time had passed, he still was Beckett. We could try the roller coaster again. Harry shook his head
No.
definitively. We should wait for Derek. He's got to be coming. Let's decide that, but led the group closer to the sign posted across the front of the roller coaster. You didn't join the line, but stood just under the massive advertisement to make yourselves easily noticeable.
Fine.
Here, there's no way he's going to miss us now. With that, you settled in to wait for Derek's return. The sky turned golden as the sun began to disappear under the horizon. You glanced out to the sea, and it looked as if the ocean was swallowing the day. Lights began to click on, and the already shiny buildings of the boardwalk were set aglow. In that waning light, 2 boys with matching rainbow face paint emerged from the shadows. Found Derek in an unexpected carry-on. Well, that stinks. Elizabeth ran a hand through her still frizzled hair as she stared at the snoozing Nicholas. Ray frowned, concerned. Derek spotted you and the group all headed towards each other. You met in the middle, near a restaurant with a mostly empty rack of rental bikes. Hi, everyone. He actually kicked at a pebble by his foot. He also chuckled and shrugged as if to say, yeah, the plan didn't work out. Sorry for taking so long. There's sort of a problem.
Duh.
Nicholas released a particularly loud snort.
What?
Where are Mom and Dad? Corey's arms were around his chest. Derek readjusted his grip sturdily, and you wondered how strong he was. But it's been getting difficult to hold Nicholas at this point. They're fine. It's just that they promised to meet later is all. It's not like we've been abandoned. Ray let his hands hang loose at his sides, believing his brother. Before anyone could say anything else, Derek had a new idea to offer. I'm going to hold Nicholas until it's time to go home. The rest of you can keep having fun. Go wherever you want. Corey uncomfortably pulled out his shirt, stretching the fabric at its seams. I don't want to go. I want to help. He visibly felt bad about all this being put on Derek. You got the impression that if Corey was a little bigger, that he'd offer to take a turn holding his baby brother instead.
No.
No, it's okay. I'll be fine.
Oh God, seeing those eyes through the window looking at me was actually scary right there.
You really shouldn't waste all your time standing around with me. Plus, then who would help Elizabeth from beating around the boardwalk? They haven't been here before. You know this place and can make sure they don't get lost or don't miss the good parts. Ray turned to you and Elizabeth, but hesitated with his answer. It would help me to know we didn't send them off alone. They're our guests, right?
Hmm.
Okay, thanks, Ray. Jack leaned closer to Elizabeth and whispered, I don't want Jorge to miss out on the boardwalk because of Nicholas or because of me. Please go take him and have fun. Elizabeth and Derek made eye contact. For all you figured, they had some sort of oldest sibling telepathy going on. That was the only way you could explain it, because rather than arguing, she agreed to work with Derek. I'll do it. Elizabeth then pressed her lips slightly together and considered you. She's already then lightly flicked your nose. But I don't need Beanie with me. Jorge is in pain. Derek's brows creased, not expecting that. Yeah, I'll stay with Derek. I can stay with Derek. Right. I'll handle taking Derek out for some fun. You nodded and agreed with Elizabeth's nudging. Right, I'll handle taking Derek out for some fun. Good. Thought you would do something
I'm
useful.
expecting big points
Beanie.
this round.
Derek's voice was strangled and hushed.
You don't have to.
You don't have to do that. What about you? Why does it have to be just you? You can have to suggest we take turns watching Nicholas. Derek shook his head and felt your stubbornness spark.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine. Someone's got to be here for Nicholas, and it's easy if I do it. That's all. Well, now it's going to be easiest if we do it together.
Yeah,
Right, show
sure.
me something interesting. Right, gulped but not. His gaze bounced between Elizabeth and your standoff with Derek. He wisely decided to take his leave. Smart choice. Very smart choice. He led Elizabeth away, passing by assorted stalls. He seemed to have an idea where he was going, so he figured he and your sister would probably have a good time. Derek shifted his weight from foot to foot, bouncing around like the floor was on fire. Got more pink the further away your sister and his brother got without you. Beanie, you had to go. I found
That's
our
what I've been looking
parents.
for, a
What?
document. Oh my
Kept
gosh.
babbling, hop-foot, hoppily, both at a rapid pace.
Yeah,
They rented
let's get
bikes
out
and
of
were
here.
having a good time. I just couldn't ask them to take Nico. That's not your fault. It's all because me and you shouldn't have to miss out because of that. You had to go have fun. You were shocked to hear this revelation. He chose to keep Nicholas? But you shouldn't have been so surprised. Of course he didn't stop his friends from having fun. That's exactly what Derek would do. That was what Derek was trying to do now with you. Until staying. When the other two were completely out of sight, Derek stopped his frantic movement, having spent all of his excess nervous energy. He met his gaze head on, staring at the friend who simply couldn't help himself from being helpful. His face changed to something tense and small.
This exit could be.
He wondered how
tough.
many times he did this, took on all the responsibilities so that others didn't have to be bothered. It didn't seem like he was called out on it much. Slowly he smiled, his grin was tender enough to be genuine. Well then, if you're gonna be here anyways, we don't have to make ourselves miserable. It's you and me and, well, Nicholas time.
Why is your rat in my thing's cage?
Don't want Coil to see me. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Because
Got it. Oh, what an exit. Ooh, didn't get nearly as many points as last level. Like 500 less? Trying to think what I did more of. I definitely opened more padlock doors. Probably used more batteries too. Maybe disarmed more door traps. Yeah, the other level I was just there longer. It took me forever to find my posters.
Quick Google. Okay, I can't state this at all because it is with the local joint. But I have
Hey,
donuts.
what?
I have donuts.
Nice. I love that. Donuts actually sound delicious right now.
I'd say where they are from, but I can't because
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
some of these have cinnamon on them.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. There's a giant fucking cinnamon roll in my future, by the way.
Sorry, Bean.
There's a giant cinnamon roll in my future.
Oh yeah. That sounds really good, actually. That sounds too good. A cinnamon roll? Oh, sounds delightful.
Hopefully those little mini donuts weren't for anyone. Because 3 of them are now in my stomach. Alrighty. He lifted Nicholas higher and stood tall, ready to take on the world. Then his knees buckled and he blushed. Can we sit down somewhere? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. After spending all the time searching high and low while carrying around his brother the whole time, Derek needed a break. Both dragged yourselves over to a nearby bench. It was thankfully empty and away from the crowd. Derek took a heavy seat and exhaled deeply. He kept Nicholas clutched close to his chest. It was a familiar motion, one that Jack must have done hundreds of times before. I get why Nicholas is so attached to you. Maybe you shouldn't take on everything yourself. You don't like getting help, do you? I remember how responsible you are. The parents are lucky to have you. Well, your parents are lucky to have you. After you both settled, Derek carefully reached into his pocket, struck a dig around to find what he was searching for. Aha! Put on a special snack baggie and tried it. It was still completely full, untouched from this morning. Derek tried to pick out some morsels from the bag, but it was even harder to keep Nicholas from flopping over. Let me help. Derek flushed at your offer and became self-conscious of the fact he notices
Thanks.
difficulty. Thanks. Despite his embarrassment, he passed the snacks to you. You took the bag and he steadied his hold on Nicholas. Oh, I just need the granola chunks. You can leave the other stuff in there. And just some of it would be good. Is that your favorite? Yeah, but no. You stared at him in confusion. He laughed cheekily, having expected your reaction. It's my favorite snack in the bag. The other stuff isn't for me. There's a handful of this hero Nicholas secretly likes. That way you can have something that's not just candies and cookies. And I brought the walnuts for Harry in case we were out to look and he got hungry. And he dropped his gaze from me shyly.
Honestly,
The mangoes are for you, because maybe you get hungry too. That's for handfuls. You always think ahead. That's so nice of you. You shouldn't use your snack bag for other people. Stop doing everything for everyone else. And what if you needed more for yourself? You beamed at his consideration. You frowned at his admission. This kid is way too nice for his own good. You shouldn't use a snapback for other people, is what I think. But, and what if you needed more for yourself? Did he not think of that? He'd be starving while holding onto extra snacks for everyone else. What had he actually eaten today? You narrowed your eyes and tried to think back to if he had anything.
no worries.
It's nothing. He tried to reassure you and brush off your concern. Then it wasn't a big deal. Do you want any mangoes? You can take it. Sure, thank you. I don't want it. You should eat it. It's your special snack bag. You nodded and accepted. You shook your head and refused. You nodded and accepted. Derek beamed, more than happy to share. His planning had come in handy. You appreciate the snack. Carefully finished out some chunks of granola. They were slightly sticky into the touch. Dropped them into Derek's outstretched hand.
Thank you.
But one of the tiny oat clusters into his mouth and started chewing. Decided to pull out your own snacks. You wanted to eat and share your own snacks with Derek. You offered Derek some of your own snacks. You left your snacks in your pocket. You wanted to eat and share your own snacks with Derek. So you found your baggie and zipped it. Started snacking along with Derek. Every so often you pluck out some more granola from Derek's bag and pass it over between bites. Want some? You had out your baggie in a place where you could just pour it out for Derek. Said yes. That lit up amusement as he considered your snacks. It'd be
Definitely.
great. Sharing is caring. And thanks for getting mangoes for you. By the way, if I was gonna get a second thing for me, it would have been that. So this really worked out. You tipped some snacks out of your bag for Derek, and he gratefully munched on them. Both of you leisurely enjoyed
Wait,
the time.
pause.
Yes.
Were you talking about donuts in real life or in game? Because now you're talking about snacks in game and I'm tripping out.
Then it's IRL.
Okay, I was like, please. I was like, wait a second. I was like, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah.
I was like, now you're talking about snacks in game. I was like, wait, did I just like fall? Did I just get duped? Like, okay, thank you.
You know.
Am I in the fucking Matrix right now?
The snap baggies were made earlier on.
No, I got checked. Oh, I remember that you had choices of what to put in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you put in them?
So I picked some dried mangoes, some granola bars, and some
I
chocolate
remember that
chips.
because we talked about mangoes. Yeah, okay. All right. Was that last stream you did that? I feel like that was a while ago.
No, that was earlier this stream.
Was it? Okay.
Mhm. It is hot now.
Running for my life. Oh, why did so many enemies just show up? How have I not found the key yet?
I feel like I need milk with the donuts.
Milk and donuts? I like coffee and donuts personally. Personally, I'm a coffee and donut kind of guy.
I would do coffee, but it's so late.
Or tea. I like tea and donuts as well. Hot. It has to be hot tea though. And yes, it can be tea served in, I'll say Irish style, because that's how I learned to drink it in Ireland with the milk. I was gonna say English style because I think that's what people call it. But if you know about the English Irish history, you know, give credit where it's due. And I technically learned it from an Irishman.
Bench was comfortable. They're
Oh, I didn't-
delicious.
Although I didn't learn to make tea properly until like years later. From my second trip to Ireland, like 8 years later, I realized I was doing something wrong, but I'll never admit to it. As someone who loves tea, I feel shame now.
Sounds about right.
Hey, look, I look at it like this. If you don't look back on your past and sometimes cringe at moments, you haven't grown as a person. You haven't learned stuff.
Sounds about right.
You haven't experienced enough. It's a good thing. It actually shows that, like, you recognize, how far you've come. You wouldn't do those same silly things again.
Not gonna lie, all these little donut things are gonna be gone. So I left them down here with me.
Oh, donut bites? They're like small ones? Who's
Mhm.
called them donut things? Oh my goodness. The donut holes or whatever sometimes they call them? Yeah. I think they're called different things depending on the shop or regionality. But yeah, I'm with you. I want so many keys. I need a room with the master key is what I need. Okay, I actually need to find lockpicks. Oh, there's one. Boom. You know
Hold
what? I'll get another one. Oh my gosh. Why are you out here, sir? Hi, how are you doing? When did you get here? Was your flight okay? You in town long? Jesus. I did not expect to see that giant. Oh, that was sketch. Bro, are you gonna leave the room? Like, can you go somewhere else, please? So that was terrifying. Little poop might just have come out. Why? Why is it the Jaeger? Okay, yeah, I get it, game. I get it. I'm going. Yeah. I'm with it. I'm going. I'm gonna get to the thing, and I'm gonna go through the thing, and then you can't get me, and then you'll leave, and then I can go back to exploring the map because I want to open this too. I want to remember this is here. Okay, go around him so we don't get punched in the head. Meanwhile, we're looking for a lockpick. Yep, because we want one. Didn't mean to hit that glass. I tried to walk. Oh, there's a lockpick too. Nice. Okay, so we have to go in here so that the Jaeger leaves. So we need Coil to walk away. Yep, perfect. We're gonna just tuck in here and hide for a second. The Jaeger should fuck off. We're gonna wait for Coil to walk by again. Oh, did I not put my key in yet? Let me do that. Oh, we don't have to do it later. Oh, don't do that. Whatever you don't do that. Did you get your milk? Is that that's where you went, right? That's why I'm not hearing you. You went and got your milk and you're eating donuts now. I should have disarmed that for points. I'm a doofus.
Peach has knocked something over, so it's all wet. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. Tell you what. Oh, that doesn't get you, huh? Okay. That was actually scary.
Did you want to say hi, stream?
Hi,
Hi.
stream. It's
Is
been
that
a very
Ken's? Hi,
long
Ken's.
day.
That is Mama Bean.
Oh no, that's Mama Beans. That's Mama Beans. That's Mama Beans. I heard it. Nope, I heard it. I heard it. Hey, to be fair, I started asking the question before I actually heard. That was definitely Mama Beans. When I heard the voice, I knew that was Mama Bean. All right, where am I going again? Oh yeah, over here. Jaeger should be gone. I thought Ken's, because didn't you say Ken's? Oh, that wasn't Ken's calling. It was your mom. You thought it was Ken's. I'm a doofus. Another rig recharger? Why not?
Mongoose is also saying hi.
Hello, Mom.
Yo, Mongoose.
Hi, Mongoose. How's your day?
You know who I confuse with Mongoose all the time?
Hmm.
Wiggles.
Wiggles. Okay, that's good, at least.
And it's exactly that. He's always sleepy. He's always hungry.
Twitch.
He's always
Those
ornery.
munchkins that I was eating, Mad Dog.
Sure.
The small donuts that I was eating.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're Kenzie's.
Oh, that's funny.
You make them down here and want one of their legs down.
You snooze, you lose.
Mimi, I'm hungry. Just because I'm sleepy and hungry doesn't make me Wiggles.
I'm just saying it's funny because like whenever we're talking about Wiggles, like it's funny that like it's the same like Beans like I'm feeding Wiggles chicken hearts on stream and like we're talking about it and then you're also in chat going I'm so hungry like I could eat like
Wiggles
a
is much
cheeseburger
more
right now or
important than
something.
I
It's
am.
just it always cracks me up. Like I don't think recently, but I think years ago I said Wiggles or Mongoose and I meant Wiggles or Mongoose. I got the two. That's what I'm saying. I'm joking around when I say like I confuse the two. I've done it once in the past on stream. I'm taking the piss kind of myself.
I don't think
Goose.
Mongoose is insulted. He's just saying that Wiggles is more important than he is.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah, I'm
guess
just
we
saying,
do look
I'm
similar.
A doofus and I've made that mistake in the past. Is what I'm saying.
Mongoose
I'm
is
just saying
we
I'm a
do look
doof.
similar. It is
Yeah, you got
true.
a furry long body. You got a furry long body. You're a furry long boy. Careful calling Mongoose long boy.
Mimi,
blow
I'm
up
much
his ego.
sleepy. I'm gonna go sleepy time. Okay, have fun sleeping.
Good night, Mongoose.
Mama Beans is currently
Pleasant
giving
nightmares.
Peaches all the attention she can give her.
Hey, you have all the chicken hearts your favorite heart desires. No, but for real. Good night, Mongoose.
Manga says he loves you, Mama Bean. She says that as she's getting hit by Peaches. That's a good question. I don't know what she does with them. Her ball was somewhere over. There's her ball's like all the way over there.
Oh, I'm gonna get. Yep, right in the chest. Here's the better idea. Here's the better idea. Here's the better idea.
Use the non-pointy end.
Wait, where was I going? I was trying to get away from this guy, right?
Which was comfortable, delicious food, and Serena was busy, and there enough. There was always something to watch. The munching and high-pitched snoring
Actually chasing
served
me?
as the only sounds between you for a while.
Does not seem like that stun lasted
You
very
passed
long.
Derek the cluster granola. You had to really try to get it out of the bag around all the cereal and walnut chunks. He accepted it with great enthusiasm and then took his final bites. He swallowed satisfied. Absolutely brightly Nicholas said as he peered up and down the street. Something got his eyes and he lit up. You know, I was so focused before I kind of forgot where we were. This is still the boardwalk. He was excited as he had been towards the beginning of the day.
Let's go.
Want to walk around? There's a lot of interesting stuff here, even if we're only looking.
I
This
missed.
is nice. Derek gave you a thumbs up and then, at Nicholas.
I'm gonna
Can
get
you help me
stab
move him
chat.
to my back?
It's
That'll
most
be easier
unfortunate.
for a long haul. You stood up to help. It took both of you fumbling around, but with effort, you were able to get the little boy comfortably on Derek's back. Then you left the bench behind to explore the bustling waterfront park. Without consciously deciding to, you routed to the edge of the path closest to the sea. You sighted the beautiful ocean, your breath almost taken away by how the water sparkled under the fast flickering lights of sunlight. Flickers of sunlight, I can read that correctly. The evening remained pleasantly warm despite the encroaching darkness. Your skin felt tucked under your face paint. The paint had started to crack after its long exposure to the elements. Is it normal for Nicholas to fall asleep like this?
Hmm?
Kind of. Sometimes something so exciting that Nicholas bounces off the walls just imagining it. By the time he actually gets here, he's already burned himself out. I'm pretty sure Nicholas didn't sleep at all last night because he knew today was going to be a boardwalk day. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that sucks that he's missing us. He'll be upset that he slept through the whole day when he wakes up. I used to do that too. I used to do that when I was little. You know how to understand, understandingly.
You just get tired from being excited.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited. I need a nap.
that is a thing for little kids. I remember jumping up and down when I was getting excited.
Yeah, because like when you're a kid, when you get excited, you basically turn into like a cell phone. You just start vibrating.
Oh yeah,
You're like,
non-stop.
I can't contain this energy. Ah. All right, I'll take another document. Wait, what? Why are you spawning? Aren't there more locked containers? Guess not.
That's cute.
I know we can't use that too. I don't think I would use it. Ow, be careful. Like, she started to roll
Sounds about right. Jared grin and pressed his cheek into Nico's. Just so you know, we got cotton candy after the roller coaster. Elizabeth might end up being a bad influence on her. Your parents should give you a raise. I hope Tori and Elizabeth are having a good time. I hope Nicholas is at least having good dreams. Just sit quiet and continue to observe the sunset. I hope Tori and Elizabeth are having a good time.
Yeah.
They definitely are. Tori knows the fun places are. Walking down the boardwalk was peaceful. The conversation was easy with,
Good night, Street.
Good night, Mama Bean.
I will eat them. Did you also want these? Your donuts?
I actually do want to go this way, so let's take this opportunity while he's
Rude
over
eye.
there. Damn, nothing? Gotta leave this way, too.
I'm sorry, but they...
They're gone. What's that thing? Something and ask for forgiveness later?
Yeah, I'm eating my own donuts now.
You got your
Here's
own
the-
supply?
Yeah. But my god.
Alright, I think I'm gonna just go this time. I don't think there's anything left to do.
Possibly. But,
Did not expect that.
yeah. But, oh my god. The donuts are just so good there.
Oh, I didn't actually want to leave, but that's fine.
It's ringing. She left her phone out in the car.
I did kind of want to find a rig recharger, but it looks like that's not going to happen. We're just going to have to run for it.
Please leave your message.
You need me. Yeah.
Going down the boardwalk was peaceful. The conversation was easy with the occasional
Ooh,
giggle.
I wanted to grab that
Other groups of
poster.
people passed by, couples, young friend groups, and families with children all bustled about. You caught silvers of conversations, ranging from the mundane to philosophical. I can read that. Derek glanced at the faces around him and grinned to himself. It kind of feels like our parents and this is our kid. He just around to show you Nicholas with amusement. You're right. Oh yeah, our next trip to be the wedding chapel. Yeah, haha. I'm glad he's not actually my kid. Yeah. Blush now shared our response. It would be nice if that was true. You're right. He readjusted the script on his brother with a chuckle. Derek had a mischievous idea. He dimmed his voice, pretending to be an adult. Ah yes, here we are on a delightful little walk. I have a son and a job, and I do taxes every quarter. He dissolved into a peal of laughter. He bowed his head bashfully. As he led you down the boardwalk, you noticed a new skip in his step. Hey, I have an idea. Let's ride the Ferris wheel. We've officially given up on getting our parents, and even Nico can do that. Yeah, that'd be perfect. You're a genius. How high is it? Is it safe? You know, exactly. That'd be perfect. Jack got out a whoop and turned around like it was a little happy dance. He laughed, charmed by his enthusiasm. You're gonna wake Nicholas if you keep that up. Even if I did, we'd drag him to the wheel anyways. That'd rock him back to sleep. He smirked. Derek had an answer for everything. You both eagerly made your way through the crowd to get in line for the one ride that was an option for you. Derek cautiously weaved past people, making sure no one accidentally bumped into Nicholas on the way. The lane was short, and it didn't take long for you to start boarding the ride. You piled into the cabin, and Derek placed Nicholas in the corner of the metal bench. He sat next to him. Nicholas snuffled when he was jostled but didn't wake. Derek wrapped his arm around him to scare him from falling forward. Nicholas unconsciously leaned his head over to rest on him. He rested on the bench across from them, eye to eye with Derek. It felt sturdy underneath you. Derek's grin went, and he tapped his shoes together as he waited for the ride to start. And it did. The carriage car rocked forward. Slowly, you ascended into the sky. You could see the entire expanse of the boardwalk from the cabin. It was an amazing sight. From this height, the stalls and decorations looked like a magical land of toys. You looked at Derek, curious if he was enjoying the view too. The sun continued to sink as the Ferris wheel rose, and the light that reached inside the cabin through the little window was low. Sharp edged shadows cut across Derek's body. He stopped shuffling his feet and switched to tapping a finger against the top of his knee in a jittery, uneven beat. But Nicholas still sound asleep. It felt like you were alone with Derek. In the small space high in the air with no one else anywhere around, you made one more attempt to get Derek to be open with you. If he wouldn't do it now, then when would he? Hey, so let's talk about what's been happening. Begin to list your points of concern, and the whole thing sounded even more invincible when you said in a single sentence. You got the face paint Nicholas wanted. You got snacks for other people. You gave up your own chance to have fun today so your parents could go on a bike ride. Why don't you do anything for yourself? He shrunk under the accusation like the walls were bending in on him.
Well,
Well, it's not like I can't ever do things for me. I do sometimes. You aren't convinced. That's all. And spelled that out with the furrow of your brow and the tight line of your mouth. Derek acted the scolded child and hung his head in shame, but he felt compelled to fill the uncomfortable silence. The reaction had left. It's easier to do things for other people than try to fight for something just for me. That makes everything easier for other people, too. He almost spoke out in his defense to declare that he should stand up for what he needed. But he held it back. Derek's finally expressing himself, and he didn't want to interrupt. He rambled on, trying to sort out his thoughts and arrange the words in a way that made sense to both you and himself.
I don't know.
I like thinking about the people I love. I really seriously do like doing stuff that makes them happy. I don't want to have to stop doing any of that. Derek tightened his hands into fists. His words were earnest, and he directed them straight towards you with unwavering eye contact. I mean it, even though it's annoying sometimes, annoying for me and whoever tries to stick with me. However, as true as it was, his resolutionness fizzled out almost immediately. Derek dimly sunk down in his seat. He brushed his little brother's bangs away from his closed eyes. It was a nervous momentary distraction. Nicholas offered him some emotional support just by being there. Derek spoke again. It was in a tiny voice.
Maybe.
Maybe part of me is sort of hoping that instead of having to do more for myself and less for others, somebody will try to do things for me too. Then it'd be even. Derek shifted shyly, his head still low, but his gaze shifted up to you. It's kind of like a dream or something that I got. And if I'm not doing that for anyone else, how am I going to find someone who'll do that for me? I can ask for stuff that not even I want to give. Your eyebrows shot up, but the rest of your body froze in place. Derek turned his face towards the window. It wasn't enough to cover the way his cheeks had reddened. My family cares about me, obviously, but a lot of the time, that's the thing I need help with. With a laugh, Derek liberally tousled the hair the beloved pain in the side, who laid there. The youngest brother remaining blissfully unaware of the trouble he caused. The humor in his tone left Derek as quickly as it had appeared. He couldn't get away from how serious the topic was, or how much it truly meant to him. It'd be cool to have someone who was on my side. Who liked me because me, not because they're family and are supposed to love me. For a single instant, his eyes met yours, and then he instantly focused on the world outside the scuffed gutted window, the old Ferris wheel. You could see a lopsided grin reflect in the glass. Don't tell my bros I mentioned some pretty dumb things. It's not dumb, that's normal and nice. I promise they'll just stay between. You don't have to do. You don't have that. I'm here that I can read. You do have that. I'm here for whenever you need it. I'm sure that dream will come true. You do have that.
Ah,
Thanks. The foggy face you could make on the window pane trembled. He wasn't ready to show it directly, but you were glad he still got a glimpse of it. He grasped the top of one knee and took a deep breath through his nose. When he exhaled, he carefully laid out a few more words for consideration. Hey, Benny, is there somebody that you think? Without thinking, you leaned forward towards him, your eye hanging onto his words like the cabin you were seated in was suspended from the wheel. But he never placed the last part.
forget it.
Never mind, forget it. You can ask me anything if you want to. No, you can't just leave it there. You're killing me, you joke.
Beer.
Wait, I want to know what you were going to say. It's all right. You can tell me later. You stared at him in confusion. You can ask me anything if you want to. Don't worry about that. But thanks, you're great. It was just this idea I've been kicking around, but I should probably think about it a lot more, besides. Derek shrugged an arm and cocked his head down to an extra bit of company who was still gently snoring. It's kind of awkward to talk about all this personal stuff with my baby brother here, even if he is asleep. He chuckled good-naturedly, moving his hand to scratch behind his ear. Maybe I could try again later. The back of his foot knocked against the lower wall of the outcropping metal seat on the repeat. So, it sounded the end of the conversation, but that didn't mean nothing else was on his mind. Derek was always considering something, and most of the time, it was other people. Things someone else might have missed or forgotten weren't taken for granted by him. Thanks for helping with the snacks before. The piece of appreciation was given easily. The next was far meeker.
And
thanks
thanks
for
for
coming
coming
with
with me.
You're welcome. It was nothing. Thanks for letting me come with you. Anytime, Derek. You give him a thumbs up. Anytime, Derek. This time, Derek shared his bright and bashful face directly with you. You could always count on him. That was certainty, and Derek knew that that sentiment was mutual. You look out for him whether he did it for himself or not, whether he asked you to or not, and whether he wanted you to or not. That was just as sure. Not much more was said before the ride came to its steady, inevitable end. You disembarked from the cabin with Nicholas securely in Derek's arms. He showed from the exit to the nearest stall to ask the employee what time it was. 8 p.m. was quickly approaching. Better go to the meetup place. Can you help me get Nico on my back? How about I carry him now? Nope, let me take a turn with the kid. Yeah, I can do that, you nodded. How about I carry him now? Oh. Instinctively, Derek pulled back. He clung tighter to his younger brother, keeping the weight of that burden squarely on himself. He waited calm and stable. Ultimately, the tension in his face and the hesitancy in his heart faded. He accepted your offer graciously. That'd actually be great. Thanks, Bean. Shifted his grip on Nicholas before he propped the smaller boy over your shoulders. You tucked your elbows around Nicholas' knees and hunched over so he wouldn't slip off. Nicholas dropped heavily on your back, like a fluffy card-patterned cape. He really wasn't that heavy, but you could easily imagine how carrying that extra load could get tiresome after a while. Derek definitely needed a break. Perfect. Together you wandered across the path. The people surrounding you were full of enthusiasm, bustling from ride to ride, store to store, with a quiet pace that settled between you and Derek. Your day at the boardwalk was already coming to an end. The sky had gone completely dark by the time you reached the meeting spot, but the world around you was still awash with light. Stream lamps bore down on you while spotlights shot upwards to illuminate the biggest rides. You and Derek cuddled at the side of the path. You wanted to stay out of the way of other visitors who were trickling off to the parking lot and the ones who were rushing the opposite way for a last-minute excursion on the boardwalk. You hope the strangers enjoyed themselves, but for you and Derek, plus sleeping Nicholas, there's nowhere to go. At least not until you caught sight of your current missing family members.
I figured.
We beat them. I'm not surprised. He used to break his opportunity to readjust Nicholas. He started to slide a bit during the trip over. Since there were only 2 weak members of your group, you both wordlessly kept your eyes peeled. Every figure approaching the distance was scrutinized and then disregarded as just another stranger. That process repeated for a few minutes, but eventually 2 shadowed forms coming down the path stepped under a light. You immediately recognized them. Hooray, Elizabeth. Derek jumped and waved his hand over his head. He was entirely free to draw attention to himself. That way, thanks to you taking over piggybacking Nicholas. Even on the other end of the boardwalk, you could tell Elizabeth was smirking. When Derek's brother and your sister rejoined you in front of the first stall, you appeared from white. She definitely had a leering smirk.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute that you're taking a turn with the precious baby. Ha! Derek broke out a laugh. Elizabeth's smile was the only notable thing on her face, and even Derek wasn't polite enough to let her get away with it. Baby, but what's that on your forehead? The oldest kid hadn't returned exactly the same way you left her. She now had a bright white golf ball embezzled on her skin with non-toxic, water-soluble paint. I like your new look. After just a small half, Elizabeth plainly laid out her case. Her and I talked a little bit about sports we like. When I told him I did golf, he suggested to get face paint like that. I did, and it was fun. Her chin was high, and she spoke with defiance. Elizabeth absolutely refused to be embarrassed by her change of mind. Hooray said at your side, Bradley took credit for the accomplishment. She didn't want to do it before because she was just being a Elizabeth. Huh?
Nice
Bryce being
try.
a bore, hey. Hooray and Elizabeth chuckled at the quips. Apparently they had unique nicknames for one another now. It left Derek nearly speechless.
Wow.
Clearly you and Derek weren't the only ones who went through a bonding experience this evening. I'm glad you had fun. I feel like I'm being replaced, you took. That's so cute, Elizabeth. It's sweet you're getting along. You smiled in relief that everything went well. I feel like I'm being replaced. You are, sorry. Haha, tell that to our moms. didn't convince them to adopt Jorge. So left to Jorge's parents. Lighthearted laughter drifted around the group. Whether you were invited up or all together, the Soros and Los kids enjoyed each other's company. Your sister then exhaled calmly, followed it with a sage nod. I'll take Nicholas now. Oh? Whether Derek was going to agree or disagree with the offer, you didn't know, but Elizabeth didn't give him a chance. She was suggesting what he thought she was. We've got like 10-15 minutes left. The two of you should use it. What? You want us to leave him with you? Uh-huh. Derek took a hesitant step back, turned his face, expression tense, the same way I'd been when he first realized Nico was going to be asleep for the rest of the trip. Nick's gonna be mad if I'm not there. The resistance was a weak mumble, and his middle brother spoke with much more boldness. Nicholas isn't gonna know, and what he doesn't know won't kill him. Jorge? Derek was at a loss on where that had come from. He had missed Elizabeth's little life lesson from earlier. Let's go. Derek, let's go for it. Come on, Boric. Little. Oh no. You two are my heroes. We gotta go, Derek. Will there really be time for that before our parents get here? You soundly worried. Derek, let's go for it.
Hurry
See,
up.
even your driving beanie wants you to stop being goody two-shoes for a single second. Go have fun for Pete's sake. Yeah, hurry. You have to do stuff at the boardwalk while we're at the boardwalk. Charlotte scuffled to sneaker on the ground.
Oh, hey,
Doe
when I
had
was away,
question.
Poop Wizard, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you.
That was more expected than Nicholas. It was exceedingly rare for anyone to tell Derek what the plan was. He was used to coming up with all the ideas and taking charge. Derek glanced at you. It was impossible not to smile at him.
All right.
All right, I'll do it. Me too. Finally. There's a quick passing of the buck. As Liv took Nicholas into her hands, she carefully positioned his against his shoulder and cradled his legs under her forearms. Derek found the hold satisfactory and entrusted his youngest brother to her the same way he'd let her borrow the responsibility of watching out for Jorge. No more time was wasted. He shot down the boardwalk one more time. The flow of traffic had shifted even more from when you had started waiting, with everyone except you moving towards the exit. You pushed against the tide into the heart of the park. You were sprinting hand in hand. You were sprinting side by side. Hand in hand. Two of you had reached the other on instinct in the heat of the chase, neither wanting to be separated in the crowd and both yearning to be as close as possible. Your feet and heart were beating hard. Derek shouted over the sound in breathless, thrilled voice. The lines are all going to be short this late, but I don't think we can do two. Which one do you want to do? Or we don't have to go on a ride at all? How about we get a treat? I want to know what you want to do. Would you be up for riding the Ferris wheel again? Let's hit the roller coaster. I want to do what you want to do. Oh, can we do the roller coaster? Definitely.
Okay.
All right. The joy in his cheer betrayed how disappointed he must have really been to miss out on the roller coaster before. He had put on a brave face before and in the end had the chance to get his dear reward. You would make certain that he got on that ride. You and Derek sped straight to your goal. You couldn't help but tilt your head back ever so often as the roller coaster loomed closer. As Derek had theorized, the line wasn't even half the length it was for most of the day. It only took a few minutes before you were on the platform and waiting your ride. You jumped into the car, calling Derek, and pulled the safety bar down in front of you. He was bursting with anticipation, so the restraints were especially useful. A clicking sound, like the winding of the clock, chimed in, and the ride began its gradual climb upward. It reached the summit, and after an appropriately stomach-tightening pause, it rolled over the edge. Cool summer air rushed over your face and whipped your hair as you descended at breakneck speed. Derek threw his arms in the air as he squealed in delight. Woo! You were jostled in your seat, vibrating with emotion in the roller coaster. Derek and you took turns knocking into the other around every bend. When you came to a giant stop back at the station, you lifted off the restraint together and made your exit down the other side of the ride. Derek ruffled his hand through his hair, straightening out his characteristic spikes. He was absolutely beaming on the way out. Derek stared at the sparkling stars beyond the glint and glamour of the boardwalk. There was a peace between you that hadn't been there at any other moment during your trip.
Phew.
His eyes had stolen the shine from the cosmos when he placed his gaze back on you. It was way too awkward to talk about this before with my little brothers right there, but I just want to say I really like hanging out with you, Beanie. I love my brothers and parents a ton. My other friends are great too, but when I had to pick someone to team up with, I think about you. He shrugged his shoulders with a shy grin, and Derek was someone you could count on for honesty. But sometimes it still surprised you what he was capable of. Who's a cutie? Who is messing about with Nana? I think of you too. I partner with you anytime. You smiled back at him. You flushed and looked away. Thank you. I can get why you didn't want to admit that earlier. I'd partner with you anytime. Oh, cool. There's no haste or worry of separation, but Derek's hand still found its way to yours. You thread your fingers together with his. His soft touch squeezed at your heart even more than your hand. Getting the chance to spend some time with truly just the two of you was more than you could have hoped for. You would, Elizabeth won. Despite taking an extra jaunt around the boardwalk, you still arrived at the entrance before your parents. However, the event shift in the group. Nicholas was awake. Since Derek noticed a small third figure standing by Elizabeth and Roy, he started like he was hit by a bolt. You felt him squeeze his fingers around your hand in a stunned state. He made a break for his siblings, bringing you along with him. The motion was not exactly settled, and it caught the attention of the boy in question. He let out a shot when he saw your arrival approach. Well, technically, it wasn't your arrival that had an impact. Derek's back! Derek's back! Nicholas sprinted away from the meeting spot, not willing to wait a single second for the reunion. Crashed into Derek, wrapping his arms around his brother's thighs, and sinking his head in the space between Derek's legs. Oof. It was powerful enough to knock Derek off balance. He had to release your hand so he could swing his arms out to the side to stop his wobbling. Once he was sure he was going to topple over, Derek bent down and scooped up his hanger-on. Seeing Derek carrying Nicholas felt extremely familiar by this point, considering that had been the case for the entire afternoon. But Derek wasn't sick of it yet. He could handle it for a little longer. Derek nudged his head towards the other two members of your party, encouraging you to come. Together, you and Derek walked the rest of the way to the boardwalk entrance. While Nicholas clung onto Derek the whole way, Hooray waved you over.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Hey! The moment you were in whispering distance, you were greeted by a hushed message from your own big sibling. Good work. She put a finger on her cheek, suggestively. It fused you for a second before you realized she had seen you holding hands, even from a distance. Derek slowly knelt to let Nicholas take it down. The little boy stood on his own 2 feet, but his two hands didn't detach. They only grasped the hem of Derek's jersey instead. While brushing his brother's messy hair, Derek glanced up at Nicholas' temporary babysitter. He stared at them questioningly. What happened? It was an obvious, unspoken question. He'd only been up for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And he was really grumpy first because you weren't there, but we got him talking about the dream adventure he had when he was sleeping to keep him busy, and that worked. It was really funny, and Nico had a good time too. Ray beamed with pride at the success, and you noticed how much closer he stood to Elizabeth. Your sister accepted his company just as welcomely. They were their own partners in crime for the day.
Right.
I'm basically positive that after 5 seconds stopped telling us his actual dreams was making it all up. But it was cute. Derek blinked at the two if he had witnessed a miracle. It kind of was. Small way, he was able to pass the mantle of responsibility and everything turned out fine. However, Elizabeth and Hooray wouldn't be replacing Derek anytime soon, or likely ever.
All right, is Faded Coin still sitting there?
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Playing with Peaches.
GG. I think I get better when it gets faster. Oh, I'm muted on stream. GG Faded Kona. All right, I'm done eating. Let's load into a trial again. I gotta get. Oh wait, no, hold on. I didn't spend my points from last time. If he wants to arm wrestle again, I'll arm wrestle him again. I think I've seen him still trying to get one.
Your little freaking paws can't even react to this. Get stuck between your little toe beans.
Is he still here?
Nicholas may have behaved for a bit, but now that his biggest brother was here, the young lad wanted to be taken care of. His gaze dropped to the ground as he pulled out the end of Derek's shirt. Derek, my tummy hurts. I want an ice cream. No ice cream, Nico. They're not going to help your stomach.
But
You can have some of my snacks and saved you part of it. Derek sounded really sold the idea. It was full of appeal from the fact that it was his snacks. He could hype up a product better than any of the employees running games on the boardwalk. Nicholas brightened immediately. He collapsed his own collar and leaned his head all the way back to look up at his brother's face from where he stood against Derek's legs. He wasn't kept waiting long. Derek pulled the baggie out of his pocket and
Who's pointing at
sifted
me?
through the mix of walnuts and cereal to pick out the treat, especially chosen for Nico. Once he collected a small handful, he passed it over to Nicholas, careful dropping the round cereal puffs one by one in Nicholas's tiny palm. The mop was almost
He gone now?
overflowing.
Okay. I give up.
Nicholas gratefully
I'll go
received the offering.
load
He
it
shoved the
again.
whole thing into his face and ate directly out of his hand. Mind you, feeding oats to a pony, except in this case,
Fun lobby, though.
Nicholas was both the feeder and the fed. Derek nodded in his satisfaction, rolled the bag over in his palm. Alright, these are for you. He gathered the last wayward pieces of cereal and then offered the well-worn bag of nothing but walnuts to the mill child. It's been a really long day. There's still the ride back. You should eat
I
something.
want to know where poop was.
I
in
didn't
this.
argue with that. He gladly accepted his brother's thoughtful gesture.
Thank you.
Thanks. Jorge plucked out just one from the pack and the hardiest looking nut in the bunch and took a bite out of it. Gaze shifted to Elizabeth, or Elizabeth as Jorge knew her, as he swallowed a snack. He then asked a question. Do you want any?
thanks.
You know what? I would. Thanks. Elizabeth was the third person who took a turn of opening up a hand to receive a snack. Jorge shook a few of the nuts into her winning palm. Derek, you and Benny can have some too. Nicholas's finger remained pushed against his mouth, but his distinct chomping stopped. He spoke muffled words through, filtered through a handful of half-crushed cereal.
Okay.
I can share too. He stuck his sticky palm up towards Derek's face instead of his own. The gesture had crumbs cascading down his shirt. Nico couldn't reach high enough to get it all the way to his brother's mouth. Derek shook with giggles and poked Nicholas's rich wrist to nudge the pile of soggy cereal away. He had to take a second to breathe before he could explain himself. I've got some of the cereal right here. That'll be from you. Thanks, Nicholas. I'm gonna eat it. That seemed sound to Nicholas, or maybe just seeing his brother smile made Nicholas smile too. Either way, he accepted that not taking more of the cereal counted as him sharing it. But he wasn't done. He turned around on a dime. I'm still stressed, positioned his hand towards you. Amazingly, he wanted to share with someone other than Derek. You kiddos are all the way too nice. He hated his sweetness. He smiled with forced politeness. He had no idea how to react. He matched Derek and laughed. He cringed at how gross the snack was. He hated his sweetness. He knew he was trying to be nice, and that was adorable. For Nicholas to start flinging bits of cereal at you and his eagerness to share, a warm voice boomed above the dim of the busy boardwalk. Good evening, family and friends. It was Mr. Soros, and not only him, but all four parents weaving their way through the crowd. We're here. The sight of his mommy and daddy made Nicholas forget all about feeding you his pre-chewed snack. He smashed the remaining cereal into his mouth so he could use both his hands to wave at his parents. Thank God. Dad, Mom. Derek called back with equal excitement. The parents picked up the pace and came together around their children. Greetings were shared between adults and kids. Neely Mom noted the face paint that was now adorning your group.
Wonderful.
You all look wonderful, so creative. Nicholas forced himself to swallow a mouthful. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. Sucked in a huge breath, pointed to his chicken, cheered. Rainbow!
That's good.
Well, you're right, it's a rainbow. It's beautiful, Nico. Nicholas giggled gleefully at the praise from the grown-ups. Mr. Riz then clapped her hands together and changed the topic. Well, everyone, I'm sorry you beat us here. Hopefully we weren't waiting
This
long.
is gonna
No,
be
it's
great.
fine.
I appreciate
Appreciate
it.
you waiting here for us. Went on a very lovely bike ride across the boardwalk.
Really?
Really? You were out there pedaling around on bikes. Elizabeth and Jorge's face of genuine surprise at that news helped to distract from the awkward, knowing glances he shared with Derek. Returning them was a real hassle. That's why we were here late. Definitely worth it, though. It wasn't. Did you children have a good day? Nicholas threw his hands in the air to answer in full force. Yeah. Derek softly patted his little brother's head. His voice was much quieter and distinctly, relieved, yeah. You, Jorge, and Elizabeth nodded and offered your own points of agreement. May not have gone as you had imagined, but none of you would have considered it a waste of time. It was an experience worth having.
That's great.
That's great. I'm sure you made the most of what you had, but we better get going. It is very late. Perhaps we should pick dinner up on the way home. Absolutely. It's been an hour since we left. Nicholas can always sleep in the car since we won't be home before bedtime either way. All the kids except for Nicholas had their face go completely fat. And Elizabeth snorted. Miss Soros didn't meet that instant reaction. She raised her brow. Derek straightened the bands on his wrist and broke the news to his mom. There's glad amusement in his eyes. Sorry, Mom. I don't think that's going to happen. Nicholas remained oblivious to the discussion going on about him. He was leaping and bounding from board to board, completely refreshed. His mother frowned. It was obvious to her what had occurred. Mr. Cyrus was unflustered. He shared some dignified optimism.
Well then.
Well then, he'll be up to keep us company.
True.
True. We'll all be together. Those words reached the small ears of the youngest person there. Nicholas held on to Derek's admin, liking the sound of that promise.
Good job, team.
His older brother looked down at him.
Good job,
and
team.
Glad to have you back,
Door to
Nico.
door
And
opening.
Jorge, you reached such a reliable bro. He wrapped an arm around Nicholas and reached over to pull his other brother into a hug. Jorge welcomed and reciprocated the embrace. The Sorry trio snuggled together in a tight squeeze, and their flaking face paint rubbed off on each other. You guys wandered from the public display of affection and went to your older sister. This was definitely not a hugger, but you whispered your own sibling appreciation for her. Thanks for helping before. She gave a smug flip of her hair. You owe me one. I knew that was
Let's
coming.
go.
Let's go. That was all that needed to be said. Your completed party took their final steps on the boardwalk, heading straight towards the parking lot. Miss Reyes leading the pack. Mom, hey mom. Nicholas shot away to get his mother's attention from behind, while still using one hand to grip Derek. Guess what? Elizabeth carried me. She did. That's so considerate. Elizabeth?
Oh.
Elizabeth. Your moms were walking arm in arm, sharing hushed commentary with each other, a distance from the group, and tittering over what they heard. I carried you too when you were sleeping. She only did it for the last few minutes. It's nice of her to do that. You're so sweet, Elizabeth. You snickered along with your mom. You're so sweet, Elizabeth. I am. I feel that whoever carried Nicholas the most today should get the biggest saying what we have for dinner.
My thoughts exactly.
I'd second that. Sounds fair to me. Then we all agree. Guess that means Derek will be our dinner decider for the night.
Maybe.
Probably. Derek scratched at the rainbow on his cheek and chuckled airily. He shrugged without comment as if they continued to walk. His little brothers stayed at Derek's side and they bumped along together. Each drove with Elizabeth while their parents surrounded the set of siblings at the front from behind. Derek's hands were still full of Nicholas and Ray, but he snuck a fond glance over at you. None of the excitement had faded. The night was still young and bright, and you knew you could count on every person there. Despite being miles away from Sunset Bird, you felt right at home. Woo! Let me tell y'all, that took like 2 hours. Just that one.
That was the chapter right there. That's where it ended.
That was a one chapter.
That's where it ended. Okay,
Yeah.
like you're the next thing is you're deciding what dinner is basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, that is the end. We now go on to a different memory. So these are basically all
And
memories that we're
you never
doing.
get to choose dinner. Out of
No.
all the choices, dinner's not one of them.
Nope. But it wouldn't have been our choice either. Derek was the one that was going to choose that. He was the one who held Nicholas the
That's true.
longest.
I guess that's true.
But
You don't really have an influence over what he says.
we have 2 more
Okay, I need to find more
DLCs
lockpicks.
to
So I'm
do
gonna backtrack and see if I can find some.
for Derek. I think I'm gonna aim for next week, which is for this is gonna be Friday. I'm gonna start early.
Oh, are you only doing one chapter today?
Yeah. Because
Oh, okay.
I do have to go and do some Disney stuff.
Oh. Okay. okay.
Because,
Are you doing that on stream too? Or no?
no. It's kind of boring.
Okay.
All I'm doing is quest lines. Well, not quest lines,
Just
I'm
thought I'd
doing a lot of,
Like grinding?
yeah, it's just grinding.
tasks? Yeah, yeah.
It's just grinding to
what I'm
get stuff
doing right now.
done. Grinding to get everything back. Because I
Get
use a
everything
lot of my
back.
stuff, yeah. I use a lot of my stuff to give gifts.
Wasn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yes, so I need to grind it all back.
Oh, so you yeah. You're trying to feed your loot goblin habit by hoarding stuff. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. By being over prepared. Yeah, I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
But,
You're like a squirrel. You gotta hide your nuts in the tree.
yes. But I will say this. Maybe I will do a Disney stream because there is a new store pack that
Kristen,
we're
I don't like you.
doing. But I won't do it now because as soon as I'm done the Disney stuff, I'm going to be ready for bed, I think.
Oh, tonight? Yeah.
Yeah. But next Friday, I want to try and get the DLCs for Derek done and over, so that we can focus more
Yeah.
back on Cove.
Okay.
Because that's technically who we're supposed to be romancing. But we're
You're romancing Cove?
Yeah.
Is that why Voice always gives him shit? Is it because he's the one that broke his arm, right?
yes, Cove's the one who broke his arm doing on a jet ski.
Surfing?
Yeah.
Jet ski.
But we also have a chance to get with Derek, hence the DLCs. For
How
him.
do you break your arm on a jet ski though?
Did
he like drive into some rocks?
So here's the thing: we actually don't
Was it
know
some
the
shallow
story.
coral?
He just states that he broke it on a jet ski to us. He doesn't tell us the story until
Because
the next
jet ski
part.
would have to come to a very sudden stop. Like, did he hit a boat? Like, did he hit another boat?
We don't get the full story of what happened until the next part.
I'm just saying, logistically, like realistically, what? How could you break your arm on a jet ski? Because if you fall off, it's water. I know it can hurt, but I don't imagine a
My
broken arm
understanding is
one
that
of them.
Cove was on the back of it. Someone else was driving it.
Two bodies hitting each other could easily do it. Okay, that makes more sense.
So there was a teenager driving it, and Cove was on the back. That we know. Cove said that he got it because he got on top, but he never fully states how he actually ended up on it, nor how he broke it. We just know that someone else was driving it. But we do learn in the next part of our thing, when we hit summer ended and we do one of the memories there, we will figure out why and how it happened.
Nice.
That one is actually very sweet, consisting what it is.
What? Why is Jaeger coming out?
I don't really think there's really anyone watching, but hey.
Like, for real, why is Jaeger here?
But when I'm making it so that when we play this, we have 3 endings. We have 3 endings we can do. I'm being like dead in the middle on everyone.
So that way when you get to the end, you can choose.
Yeah, so we can all see like the
Okay.
endings. So
Soundtrap, did not enjoy that. You know what? Just fuck you in general. Sorry.
we have Cove, and then we have Derek, and then we have a mystery third person that I did hint at the beginning because we didn't meet them already in the game. I did hint at that person. would be
For
coming back.
romancing, you mean?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you
So
did actually. I do remember that.
while
very
we have
cheeky
met
about
them, we won't actively interact with them until the next one. We only had a brief moment with them. But I'm aiming to make it so that, my character is like, to make it so that I can get all 3 endings, I cannot date Cove.
Until when? Because if he's one of them, obviously you date him.
Yeah. Until the very end, where I, do the ending. And on that
You'll
note,
be forced to make a decision?
Yeah.
Okay.